Hi, my name's Mike Valeni, and I don't know shit about shit. It's Cash the Ticket. Rate, review, subscribe. Jim Costa to my left. I will tell you, we got a lot to talk about on a Reaction Monday. I'd ask how you are, but frankly, I know the answer, and I'm not going to be disingenuous. I think I'm
bleeding.
Theme.
We're both bleeding.
Well, it's the theme of the episode today. And look, we're going to cover winners. We're going to do it all. But I personally come off of, I don't know in the time doing this podcast I've ever had a weekend that jointly between college football and the NFL has been worse. It was a complete clown car. It is more than anger. It's demoralizing. I don't know shit about shit. That is the theme of the day. I can't figure nothing out. And look, this ain't going to be some wambulance, but was it a bit of Murphy's Law? Yeah, dude, hey, it's 1st and goal at the 1 cock line. All I need is the team to advance the ball by a cock, fumble Ruski. Or hey, here's an idea. The weekend began and ended the same fucking way. How about losing at the last play of the game on an NFL Sunday where I have under 48 and a half, 4th and 16, pass interference puts the Chiefs in field goal range, and Butker hits the field goal to blow the under. I was a disaster. So I want to talk about a multitude of things, and we'll get into the football. Where's your headspace? And I don't know if this was your worst weekend ever. It just felt like it. I was atrocious. I watched a third of the bankroll go out the window. Thank God I'm not a degen. I didn't chase. I don't increase what I bet. We talked about it. You got to bet 3 to 5% of your cash flow.
Yeah, bankroll.
Dude, if I chased with the weekend I had, the bankroll would be gone. It was a disaster.
All the good from the NFL in week 1, down the toilet. Any progress in college, down the toilet.
Oh, for me, my college record's ruined.
And it's okay, we're going to have to fight and scrap and claw the rest of the way. It's that kind of weekend. No, it's as bad as we've had collectively as a pod, and you spread it over both Saturday and Sunday.
Let me do something, too, that I know I don't have to do, but, I'm just different. You're a bit of, Christian Bale, American Psycho. I know I don't have to, but, I'm sorry. I feel terrible. I feel like I totally let the Cash the Ticket nation down. We're guys, I promise, I think you're aware, if you're local to Detroit, you know the work I put in with the afternoons or the kickoff show with Boomer Esiason, but the amount of research and the amount of time I spend putting this together, and Jim as well, and Evan as well, because Evan is a big part of our show sheet, I just feel like I'm living in the upside down. I cannot apologize enough, and I guess for me is, I remember being in college. I know what it was like to lose money I didn't have.
Yeah.
I've arrived. I'm blessed in this life. I'm in a different place where, none of this affects anything I'm doing. But I know somewhere out there, someone bet money they didn't have this weekend, and that pisses me off because I want to shake them. Don't do that. And second of all, if this proves anything, I don't care we were profitable last year. That's last year. You can't blind follow people, and you can't do what we do. So please don't. But I am so sorry if you valued what we said, and then it was 66-7 Notre Dame, for instance. I don't even know what I watched this weekend, so I will do my damnedest to be better for you guys, but here's where go ahead.
No, I was going to say something that I don't think you hear enough. And you're a good person. This guilt routine is proof of it. You're a good person.
I feel awful for people.
Because I don't claim to be better or worse than you, but I'm different.
No, you're worse. I think that's clear. You're worse.
Thought I could just skate past that.
I
said something nice to you, and I thought that would buy me a little bit of grace.
I was Shane Lentz. I give you a little Nancy Kerrigan as you skated by.
We approached this differently. When we started this podcast, I said, the amount of money that I'm going to bet on sports is an entertainment fund.
It's a budget. Yeah.
I'm competitive. Personally, I want to win. I want to be right. You've learned this about me. I don't have to prove that to you or the audience. I want to be right. When I'm wrong, I'm upset. So I was very upset this weekend. But I don't project that onto other people because they have to make the decision on their phone.
Yeah.
In their app with their amount of money. I can't possibly weigh myself down with the stress of everybody that listens to this podcast. You are grown-ups. You make your own decisions. Some of you listen And I hope you aren't playing everything we're betting.
You can't be.
I hope you're listening to a game, the one game you're going to watch with your buddies, and you tail or you fade, and you have something to talk about when you're with your buddies on that Saturday night or that Sunday. That's what I hope you're getting out of this. I hope you're enjoying us. I hope you're having fun betting from an entertainment standpoint, and God forbid, do not put yourself in a financial hole. We say it enough times. I'm mad enough when I lose.
I know.
Don't put the guilt on Mike. Don't give him that guilt. Do not blind tail everything
That
he
Italian
does.
Catholic guilt.
You are a good person. People don't tell you that. Don't do that to Mike. Think about that. When you're about to bet 15 games next weekend,
Do not.
Don't do it to Mike, because he's going to wear it all weekend.
I do.
All weekend.
It's the ugliest sweater you can wear. It's
Yeah.
called Italian guilt. So here's one thing. There are two notes you said that stick with me on this. A, I would love to know from people, and whether it's the reviews or whether it's an email at cashticketpodcast@gmail.com. You're here for the entertainment, right? Not for the picks.
Right.
Tell me that.
Please.
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 Because as long as you're here for the entertainment, I'm here to deliver it to you, and I'll sweat the games with you, and I'll celebrate. I know I'll get pissed off later today talking about some of these games, but like, I really want to know from a podcast standpoint, we want to keep evolving.
Yeah.
I think in order for me to have a healthy relationship with capping these games, look, year over year over year, this starts to wear, and it's going to bring me to my second point. But give us your feedback of why you're here exactly. And maybe it's Jim on social media. You can get to him. I don't do the social media. Life is toxic enough. But I think as long as we're all here to sweat the games together, get angry together,
camaraderie
be happy together, fine. Yes. Here's part two. You said this, and it's something I have been sitting on for a few weeks, but I need to say it as a cleansing.
Okay.
And I gotta be careful because look, I always say none of this is a good idea. Products that need legalization are not made because they're good for you, okay? Can we just be there? And whether that's scratch-offs, whether that's weed, whether it's booze, whether it's gambling.
Vices.
Yes. You have to treat them in a certain space. Jim, I wanted to have a discussion with you before we start. I would argue right now, with the advancements in legalized gambling, the proliferation of it, and the money that is driven, both, look, FanDuel spends a lot of money to be a part of this pod. Yep. Let's just shoot straight. It's not a FanDuel thing, it's an industry thing. It has never been harder to win than right now. Because what I am seeing across the board in the industry are lines that are more aggressive, and it's harder to find a value. I'm also seeing increased juice across the board where the minus 105s and minus 108s, forget about minus 110, minus 113, minus 115.
18.
You're seeing minus 120s out there. And you guys, don't laugh, but I want you to think long term. If over the course of an NFL season you bet 70 games, 80 games, 100 games, whatever it is, how much does that 15, 20 cents on the dollar matter versus 10 cents on the dollar?
Well, it's going to, without getting the calculator, what do they used to say? Like 56% could get you right around break even.
Yeah, how much more do you need now?
Yeah, now are we talking almost 60% break even?
Right. So I just wanted your opinion because you're like value Bob.
I've noticed it.
It feels like this is, for the average guy, it's a total minefield. And even for us, like, look.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I get it. If you listen to this podcast and you work a day job, you don't have the time to dedicate to breaking these games down. We do. We're paid to do it.
And guess what?
And we're still getting slaughtered every now and then.
Jim, I got fucking destroyed. I went 3-8 in college football.
Yeah.
And I got fortunate to grab the third because UCF woke up. Thank God. With 330
People, I
yards
need
of
you
rushing.
to understand the scene. We're not together, but we are texting during the Central Florida game, and it's for our lungs, for our sanity, for some peace of mind.
Because it was my favorite game of the week, and I almost made it a BGB.
When your self-worth is tied up into Gus Malzahn in the fourth quarter going, oh, no.
I mean, it's like I was ready to buy an RJ Harvey jersey. But, like, I think that's the thing that strikes me is it's only getting harder. I mean, these companies are publicly traded. You know they're beholden to the stock. It is that last piece of juice that they're squeezing from the customer. It's getting very hard. It's hard. It's always been hard.
Yes.
It's harder now than ever to win. So what I would encourage people to do is please have that look in the mirror moment and go, I'm doing this for fun. Like last year, I had a nice year. Jim, I didn't win anything that impacts my life. And you think about hundreds of bets, hundreds of sweats, how much money I had to put through the window, and I produced for the people, but like, you're not, and here's the other problem I'm struggling with. And it's stupid. I know it's a terrible idea. And I know long-term you won't win at that either. But playing the horses the way I do, it's very hard to see what being right in horse racing gets you versus being right on a Saturday night gets you.
But let me remind you of something that you said like early in this podcast. Not this episode,
Like
but
years
like when
ago?
we started. Yeah. You said the money you used to have set aside to go to the bar has now become the money
Oh, in society, 100%.
that you can play around with.
Yeah.
So again, no one's saying you had to stop drinking. No one's saying you have to stop gambling. It's just making sure you have your priorities in order.
Right. And I think, look, for me, I want to be the best I can for the people. And like, I got very sour this weekend because, man, if it could go wrong, it did. I thought we lived in the upside down. I felt bad for our audience. Fuck, I felt bad for the bankroll. Dude, you see 35% of the bankroll vanquished because you have a terrible Saturday. Dude, I cut my unit size into Sunday. The NFL was drunk. The NFL looked like Evan at a slot machine. I mean, the only thing missing was my TV shouting back at me, Buffaloes. I went, what the fuck is happening? My ass cheeks didn't hit the couch before the Saints were up 7-0. I'm going, oh boy. Not great, Bob. So look, we can get into it, but I would just encourage the people, like, if you're new to this, you've never joined at a time that's harder to win than right now. If you're a grizzled vet, do a check-in. Like, I'm being straight with you. Like, I'm going to have family over at the house Saturday for the Boston College game. Jim, I am not going to sit there sweating Rice in Houston Saturday night. I'm going to take it easy this weekend because I need a reset. I need a recharge. And I'll make some picks. I'll give you some games. But, like, I'm different. We're different. And I do. I take pride in the fact we've always been straight with our people. We've always been straight about the records. We've always told you. Like, dude, straight up, I got fucking killed this weekend. It was my worst weekend while doing this podcast ever. Ever. This was like the fabled March Madness weekend of 2010 in Las Vegas. It was my worst gambling weekend in history. I mean, I'm lucky I wasn't washing dishes or putting on a glove to jerk off a bum. I had a horrible weekend. I went with a gambling budget. When I tell you that budget got vaporized, me and my crew, I mean, we tried to have fun. And those were back in the days you would drink your feelings. There wasn't enough alcohol in Vegas to fix it. Dude, we couldn't hit a game to save our life. It was Sweet 16 weekend, I think, 2010. Awful. So long story short, clown car. I pray you had a better weekend. But you know what else I would love to share in?
What?
The misery.
Yeah.
If you guys can relate, because, look, I have a couple of buddies who are serious gamblers, much more serious than I am. When I tell you we all got beat up this weekend, we all got beat up. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a vortex day like we had?
That's what we're calling it, a vortex day.
You want to call
Where
it?
you're just, no, I like it. It's good.
I felt like it was
There's no other way to describe it.
I was in a washing machine of piss. Yeah. And it didn't matter where I tumbled or how hard my head banged off the inside of the drum of the machine. It was just all piss. There was no soap anywhere. It was just pee. There was no soap. No soap.
Yeah. Forever unclean.
Dude, Ice Chips, The League, Urinal Cake.
Yep.
That show was... Could they make The League?
I don't know.
I don't think they can make The League.
I was thinking of rewatching it, and then I was like, is this going to age well?
You think they could do the Vinegar Strokes episode on TV now?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, trigger warning, sexual content. All right, where do you want to go? Let's start. Let's just start, and this is going to be therapy. This is our cathartic deal.
Well, so a question. Do you want to go through our best and worst plays? I know you don't want to. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to do winners and losers and just start with some like sports stuff?
Done.
Which one?
All of it.
Okay, we'll start with the winners.
Another.
Why don't we start with our games? Get that out of the way, and then we can end on a happier note just talking sports.
I'm happy to do it.
All right, your best bet, Mike.
Okay,
Slim Pickens.
I don't deserve a best bet.
Slim Pickens, what was the bet you were like, hey, I'm happy. At least I had this for salvation.
Well, I mean, there would be two for me. I mean, I think obviously when you pick a 9.5 point underdog and they win outright on Friday night, I thought the UNLV thing was right.
Simpler times. You're going into the weekend. You're like, damn, I had this. I had it outright.
Yeah, and look, I think perspective is my futures look pretty good. Who cares? The listener doesn't care.
Yeah.
You don't get to pimp anything after the weekend I had. But like I was high on UNLV. I think that was warranted. I was high on Miami. Warranted. I feel good about some of the futures I got. Maybe the UCF one. I just felt like there was such a huge football mismatch in that game of UCF and their O-line and their stable of backs with R.J. Harvey and Penny Boone and Middleton and KJ Jefferson, who's a freight train, and TCU's front, the way that they align, the way that they don't have the ability to win the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that game got hairy. UCF had 3 kicks blocked. I go, wow, Murphy's Law, man. I can't catch a break here. And then they just, look, when you run for 325 yards rushing, it adds up. And they just start, and credit Ted Roof and that defensive staff because they got a handle on, we got to tighten our zones. They started mugging the line of scrimmage and dropping out, and Hoover's windows were tighter, and we got it. So I'd say those were the 2. You want the worst?
Yeah, sure.
Everything else. No, I mean,
which one was maybe the most egregious, or 1 or 2?
I'll give you the one that was most egregious to me. Twofold. It was 2 totals I loved. It was Ole Miss over 63.5.
Yeah, what happened? They just cooled off.
I'd like to duct tape it to Oklahoma State, Tulsa.
Yeah. 2 overs.
Well, here's what I can't handicap. So Alan Bowman goes out and throws like 50 touchdowns. Oklahoma State does their part. Now, why they couldn't run the football against Tulsa, I don't understand. At one point, I think Ollie Gordon had like 17 carries for 35 yards. Here's what I can't cap. Tulsa's quarterback, Ferenc, whatever his name is, 13 for 41. 6 dropped passes. Tulsa gets in the red zone multiple times, comes away with no points, misses a field goal. All right, fine enough. So we go to the night window. Ole Miss and Wake at the end of the first quarter, 23 total points. This is good. We're trending for 92 points. I mean, Ole Miss went up and down the field. Do you realize these 2 teams don't combine for 23 points the rest of the night? I can't even explain it. Wake Forest goes to the red zone 3 times, walks away with no points. I don't know what Wake Forest was doing. There was a fumble in the red zone. It was awful. I just didn't get anywhere close. Worst pick? I don't know. You want Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I feel like taking a team who's a 10.5 point favorite, losing outright.
I'll own it.
Yeah.
How does a team who shuts down VTech, dominates the line of scrimmage, pounds the rock, get into a football game? I mean, Jim, a second or third play of the game, Vandy fumbles. You get another fumble later. You get a safety. I don't know. Upside down. So I would say if you want that to be my worst cap, totals are totals. When you're off, you're off. You're on, you're on.
Yeah.
If you want me to own the Vanderbilt thing, I will. I don't understand how, forget about covering, how they lost. It's just unspeakable to me. I'll own that. Best one, call it UNLV or UCF.
For me, the best one, I just kept thinking, I hope I sounded excited enough that people followed me into Lexington on Saturday night because I had the total and the side. And it was really the only salvation for much of Saturday is that I was all over Kentucky in the under.
It's bad when you're trying to draw within 3 games of 500.
Yeah, you're like, if I can get this and Central Florida, I won't have an O for... Yeah, it was pretty rough. I did like that we had the Packers in the NFL. That was a very on-brand one for us.
I was just doing Saturday.
Just college. Okay.
I haven't even gotten to Sunday yet.
All right, cool. So college, I would say the Kentucky-Georgia game was my best.
Yes.
The worst, 2 different ones I'm
Can
debating.
we call Purdue?
I was going to say Purdue's one of them because it started out exactly what I needed it to be. Purdue couldn't move the ball. Notre Dame was going to overwhelm them up front. Purdue was going to do their part to not score any points. And I had watched Notre Dame this season, and I didn't think they had 40 in them. Well, right before the half, things start snowballing, and it's a touchdown, and it's a pick 6, and it's 42-0 at the half. I have no margin for error. I'm dead. They score 66, blow through the total by themselves.
They were killing the clock at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
70-yard touchdown. This is what I mean by the upside-down world. Notre Dame, if they had Margot Robbie on a bed, they would miss and put it in her belly button. They couldn't score in a morgue. Seriously. Margot Robbie, electrical socket. I 66 points out of ether.
Out of nowhere.
On the road in the Big Ten versus, by the way, and I didn't bet the side. Yeah. I was on the total with you because I said even if Notre Dame wins, where are the points coming from?
Yeah, we thought 28-10 type of
dude. 66 points.
66-7. Now the other one I'm a little mad about is Michigan. I gave them the formula. Run it 50 times. You're gonna be fine.
Jim.
They were up to 28-7. Jim. You're gonna be fine. Just run the ball.
First of all, I didn't touch the game. I hate Michigan with every fiber of my being. Butch Jones, you're at the big house.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 2. You're a 24-point underdog. Why are we kicking 47-yard field goals? And then the kid misses to start the game, right? You had a nice drive.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to go. What are we doing here?
No,
but for Michigan,
that's what I'm getting
Davis Warren throws 14 passes and 3 of them are interceptions.
And I know, his arm got hit on one. 3 picks, terrible decision. The ball's sailing. They bench him. Score was 28-3. I'm great. Just run the ball.
Right.
Choke him out. Run the ball.
Uh-oh.
And I lose because of that. So that one, I don't think I capped it wrong. It didn't play out that way. And those hurt even more.
Yes.
So there you go. There's college. Best in the pros. We're both going to say the Packers.
Yeah. And
I mean, that was kind of a, hey, let's be contrarian. Let's back Malik Willis.
I said to you, and look, I want to do deeper dives into some of these games, and I want to talk the football of it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that bothers me is I've lost my way in the NFL. Where I never bet favorites. I never like to go on the road and bet a team, and I try to bet garbage. And this week, I said it to you. I go, Jim, this card terrifies me because I'm not finding my way to these underdogs. I actually was super confident in the Lions. And I mean, from a box score standpoint, they should have won the game by 30. Best call, yeah, probably to Pack. We nailed a couple of these totals, but
the Bronco.
What total I really felt great about, hitting it was when everyone's on an over and you go under in Niners and Vikings. Sure. Felt good about that. A no shit total of the week was Broncos Steelers, but how the fuck do Ravens and Raiders go over?
I loved that bet.
It was awful.
Loved it. Yeah, didn't work.
But no, the Pack is
how about Seahawks and Patriots? Where I think we had the total and you had a side. It goes to OT. We lose.
Get killed on both.
Yeah.
And again, part of it, there were threes a lot of places by the time the game kicks off. I'm on 3.5 and I get fucked by a half point. It's bad on me. Should I have bought back? See, this is the other thing. What I've learned in doing the podcast is if you're going to do this seriously, the amount of work this takes, not the pod. I love doing the pod.
Yeah.
The amount of work it takes to manage your bets, to shop the lines, let me be unequivocal with the people. It's not worth my time. There's never going to be an amount of money involved in the betting part of this that is ever going to change my life, good or bad. I mean, think about this. So I'm at the grocery store and now I'm setting my phone for an alert when a -3 hits. So while I'm buying Cavadilles, I can pop in Seahawks -3. Guys, what fucking planet do we reside on? We have never been the guys doing, sorry, there's no social media videos of Jim walking out of the casino with a brick of money as a cell phone saying, buy my football package. You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's that kind of shit where this was a weekend of enlightenment for me where I'm going, you know what? I can't take it this serious anymore. This is mania.
Everybody reaches that point.
Yeah, it's just silly. Does. It's what the fuck are we doing here? I'm over here sweating first downs because I'm the anti-fun guy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to stop betting unders, but I get your point.
Yes. But worst cap, pick one in the NFL.
Okay, let's go through
Cowboys
them all.
is a big favorite.
Lions,
Titans.
How about, you had the Jags.
Well, the Titans was not bad because ultimately, 1st and goal at the 8, 40 seconds to go. I'm catching 4.5.
Oh, I know.
Look, that's not a bad cap. It's a bad break. Bad is, I have to tell you, don't ever allow me to say a nice thing about Trevor Lawrence again. What a piece of happy horse shit. Honestly, I'm done with him. I'm done with them. I'm done with that hilljack-ass town. Fuck the Jags. That was such a horseshit performance. I mean, the game we got to talk about, and I'm not going to dance like a wind-up toy. Can we talk about Brian Daboll for a second? How do you go into an NFL game with a kicker on the injury report and you don't activate the guy off the practice squad as the backup kicker, and your backup kicker is your punter, Jamie Gilliam, and you don't trust him enough to kick an extra point, but he kicked an extra point earlier in the game, and the Giants lose because they can't kick extra points or field goals? And you're in an 18-18 game, you allow 7 field goals, your defense can't get off the fucking field. I mean, can Brian Daboll fuck off?
This is probably a stupid point. I've always wondered why the punter isn't the backup kicker. Like, these guys during the week practice both. You're the emergency guy.
Ridiculous.
I get it. Extra points aren't the gimme they used to be, but like to just not be able to kick?
It's ridiculous.
I don't understand
ridiculous.
I don't get it.
Look, man, as bad as Dan Campbell was at the end of the first half of the Lions game with the John L. Smith field goal unit reset, I thought what Daboll did was worse because it wasn't heat of the moment. Bad decisions where you're allotted time to be ponderous, to be reflective, to manage risk, I will always take more offense to those than a heat of the moment thing. Both were bad, but for Daboll, Joe Shane, and that brain trust to enter an NFL football game knowing our kicker has a bad groin and it could pop at any time. Then Daboll in the postgame, well, it was his hamstring. Really? Because any fucking doctor I know will tell you injuries are correlated. You will overcompensate to something else. Then you talk about kicker leg injuries. Brian, stop. How do you not have a contingency plan for your kicker dying? Sorry.
No, you're actually taking us into winners and losers at this point, so let's just go to winners and losers.
My man.
All right, and let's start with losers. Us. There, we said it. Now we can move on to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you can wallow in it. We were fucking terrible this weekend.
Do you want me to give records?
I don't give a shit what you do. The records, what was I, 3-8 in college?
You 3-8 in college, 3-9 in the pros.
Worst weekend of my life.
Your season record, you're 15-15 in college, right back to where you started.
Who gives a shit?
NFL 9-14.
Awful.
You could dig out of it.
No, it's just, but it's unacceptable for the amount. Look, here's the other thing that's disheartening. Like, and it's not a flex, and the listeners know it, but like, I should know more than they do, and I do. This is my life. It's my job. It doesn't matter. The lines are so tight, and the volatility, the idea, here's where I am an absolute asshole.
Okay.
The idea, college is where I think you can actually, quote, heavy quotes, beat the book. The NFL, I don't think anyone wins long-term ever. The lines are razor sharp. And the difference between success and failure in the league, the margins are thin. What do you think betting on it is?
Right.
But the idea that we think we're going to know on a predictive level what a collection of 18 to 22-year-olds are going to do is laughable. Laughable. The shit that I see in college football, it's laughable. So, yeah, I'm awful. I'm poison. Fade me. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Don't follow me.
Okay.
Do not follow me to freedom.
I went 3-7 in the NFL pending Monday night. I have a double dip tonight, so my horrible weekend's not over.
Jim, I want you to go 5-7 so bad. I am rooting so. What do I need to root for here? Eagles.
We need the Eagles and the under.
You need it. I don't.
Yeah,
there will be no logging in.
I know. I know.
I am on a retreat. You know what I need? I got to call Aaron Rodgers people. I need to go to Brazil and I need to vomit and shit all over myself, do the ayahuasca, get inside my brain, go higher level, and maybe then I won't be betting these stupid totals in college football.
So I'm 11-11 in
Aaron, have your people call my people. I want to go shit in the woods.
So after going 3-7 pending Monday night, I'm 11-11 in the NFL.
You want to do some ayahuasca together?
No,
we could really bond.
In college, I went 5-8. I'm 15-20 in college football.
We're awful.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Not good enough.
No, and again, we're going to do winners and losers, and I want to talk some of the football.
Yes.
And Evan, you know what you should do? We should split this in 2 episodes, because I know we're going long right now, aren't we?
No, we're fine.
All right, Evan just told me to screw myself.
He said, keep going.
Let's party.
We're rolling.
Let's do it. Okay. Winners and losers.
Winners and losers. We'll start with losers besides us.
Yeah.
I have Mike Norvell having the fire alarm pulled in his post-game press conference. The jokes write themselves.
They do.
They lost to Memphis outright, a team he used to coach at, a team they paid over $1 million to roll in, and you think after a bye week they could clean up the offense? Nope.
All right, there's a lot. I don't want to do a 15-minute Go Knowles podcast. A, if you thought they were going to get off the mat, it would have been this week.
Yep.
B, I thought Memphis played their C-plus game offensively. They were woeful. Their defense is good. They tackle. The metrics are there. But this does begin and end. A, they thought they were going to have an elite front four on defense. They're not. B, they thought they were going to have a good offensive line with all the transfers coming in. They're not. And this is, I think, the story of college football right now. It's not plug and play. It's not plug and play. If you're an upperclassman in the transfer portal, you're there for a reason. Now, there are a class of guys that are there for the bag. They're rare. A lot of these guys are there because their teams aren't willing to pay them, or they're not playing, or they're flawed. But it really comes back to one thing. If you misidentify, whether it's at the college or pro level, if you misidentify the quarterback position, you're dead. DJU, I never understood the fit. I never understood why you'd bring him in. So here's my question to you. Is there any way they can roll DJU out there next week? You can't play this guy anymore.
No.
He's terrible. He's awful.
Where are you at with Norvell's job security? They just had that great season a year ago. He's got a big buyout. Like, how bad would it have to get? 0-5, 0-6?
No, I don't think it's got to get as bad as you think, because this is the problem. You got in bed with your boosters to fund the program. Well, now the boosters get a say, a bigger say,
Yes.
in the coach being there. Think about it. You said it. $1 million here, $1 million there, $1 million everywhere. Well, those same people are going to come to you and go, here's the deal. You don't shit can this guy. I don't buy your football players. So they're fucked. I mean, you're seeing it with Florida and Billy Napier.
That was the next loser I had. I mean, he was asked openly about the booing, and I actually thought he gave a fair answer. He's like, I'd do it too if I was them.
I really like Billy Napier. Like, I have a soft spot for the guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. Cares about his players.
Yeah.
Tries to do things, and build. And I don't think he's some terrible horseshit coach, but it's not working. And we talked about how down on Florida we were to enter the year.
Yeah, it's a brutal schedule.
I didn't see them getting to 5. Right now, I don't know that they get to 4.
3.
Now you're probably playing a true freshman quarterback in DJ Lagway, because I don't think Mertz is going to start no more.
No.
I think here's what happens. Right now he's already lost, I believe, 6 or 7 games in the swamp. Steve Spurrier in his career was 68-5.
Okay.
Urban Meyer lost twice in the swamp. If they come home on October 4th and lose to UCF, he will be fired.
Yeah.
You're already hearing the reports, and I don't like hearing this. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. This guy's got a wife and kids, for Christ's sakes. Boosters have already come together and funded the $26 million buyout. Now, how do you think that's going to play if that gets into the locker room? So I think it's over. I do. I'll be shocked if Florida turns it around at a level they'll stick with them. And here's the other thing. They've already had the chatter. We need stadium upgrades. You saw their AD out there talking about we need to revitalize the swamp. Well, what do you think that's going to cost, and who do you think's paying for it? So I think it's over, and I'll tell you the name to watch at Florida. Zero bullshit. Lane Kiffin.
Sure.
That'll be the name to watch.
I haven't even begun thinking about that, but you're right. When the job opens up, I mean, Florida it should be a coveted job. This is SEC.
It is.
It's a talent-rich pipeline in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Rich tradition, multiple iterations. You mentioned the coaches who've had a lot of success there. It's too good a historic program to be this bad. And I think that's why no matter what you think of Billy Napier as a guy, a human, a person,
you got to roll.
This is Florida. This is business. This isn't good enough.
It's Tyrone Willingham. Back in the day at Notre Dame, absolute gentleman, graduates as players, there's no off-field problems, cutscene, didn't win enough games, fuck them. It's a performance business, and I understand that. But I also think it's very dangerous in today's world, shit canning coaches every 2.5 years. You will get in a vortex there. It gets very dicey.
But we're in a time where you used to give coaches like a recruiting cycle. So it'd be like, your freshmen become juniors and seniors.
Yeah, that's done.
3 and 4 years. But again, the game has changed. You're not building programs on 3 and 4 year guys. You have the portal. You have to go now. You do 2.5 seasons is more than enough. I know this sounds stupid. It feels like in the constraints of college football, 2.5 years, I've learned all I need to know given the tools you have.
You're not
Either
wrong.
you're going to make it or you're not.
It just flies in the face of 18 to 22-year-old players.
I know. I don't have any other college losers because a lot of the favorites took care of business. We can go to NFL losers, but do you have any I missed?
No. Stay in college losers that aren't us. UCLA football.
Yeah, but we saw that coming.
Not that. Losing to Indiana is one thing.
Yeah.
Getting hit with a trash can 42 to... By the way, how good is my guy Signetti?
Oh, man.
I have no right for any victory laps at all. You know I was high in Indiana. My future's going to cash.
Yeah, you're good there.
Jim.
And our UCLA under looks good, too.
How good is Signetti? He has waltzed into Indiana with an attitude. And they ain't beating any great shakes. When you go to the West Coast against a Power 4 team and you beat the brakes off as Indiana?
Statement. And I get it, the opponent's not good, but the cross country to me is statement worthy. They're 3-0 at Indiana.
And UCLA,
they got the higher right.
UCLA feels like a dead program. That feels like a program that is dead on arrival to the Big Ten. Dead.
Oh, can I throw another college loser?
Yes.
And they won the game. Did you see Shedeur Sanders not shake hands?
Here's your problem.
Follow Nicolosi.
They kicked the shit out of Colorado State. Second of all, I'm hearing Murphy's Law again. Horton, who was nursing an injury but cleared to play, re-aggravates the injury. But once Fowler, Nicolosi, the quarterback, talk shit, and Horton talk shit, and you can go look at what they said. I mean, pretty nasty stuff. We should have murdered those guys. Let's see how far Instagram followers get them. You know what? If I'm Shedeur, here's the deal. You shit on me all week. Why do I got to be the bigger person now? You and your merry band of assholes, we just kick the shit out of you. If I have a problem with anybody, it's not Shedeur. It's Dion. But this will come across as sour grapes. But Dion, why are we throwing the ball with a minute to go? We're up 28-9. Why are we... Dion, come on. You're supposed to be the adult. Then we're doing the sunglasses and the press conference routine again. Whatever.
No, but to me, again, unless I missed a quote, I took it as rivalry trash talk. Oh, we'll see what happens this time. We're going to get them this time.
We should have murdered those
I didn't see the
dudes.
word murder.
Go look at
And again, murder is in the context of football, right? He didn't say we should have rounded them up and killed them.
You're Colorado fucking State. No, shut up and play.
Hold on. You got it at home. It's a rivalry. We're going to beat them this year. Your Instagram followers, to me, that's trash talk. And at the end of the day, the guy got humbled. He lost. He extends his hand out to say, hey, you were the better man today, and Shedeur doesn't shake his hand.
I understand it.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. I'm just not moved to anger about it.
Okay.
I get more angry at the alleged adult.
Okay, fair enough. NFL losers.
No, we got to do winners.
Oh, okay. College winners. College winners to me.
Oregon.
That's the first team I listed. We had been waiting for that game.
Thank you for talking me out of Oregon and talking me into Mizzou.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, but that's the Oregon.
That's everything that could go wrong.
That's the Oregon we expected.
Yeah.
That's a virtuoso performance on the road against a hated rival. And I know Oregon State's not great. And early on, Oregon defense looked leaky. But you know what I liked out of that game? Their offensive line.
They were humming.
Well, the O-line gave Gabriel the time necessary. And if you give Gabriel time, you are dead.
What did he start? Like 10 of 10, 12 of 12? He was rolling.
Throwing a 70-yard speed option that he keeps and goes.
50 yards to end zone. Every drive in the first half was a touchdown. They came out in a rivalry spot, dialed in.
Yeah, and again, I think they're victim of something which is big money, big expectation, big portal.
Yeah.
It takes time. We have to get these guys hundreds of reps playing together. Maybe it's getting better. Now, look, I was high on them preseason. I don't get an out now. But they have to keep that linear improvement for when they play the Buckeyes in a couple of weeks. Don't worry, they'll get a scrimmage against my guys here on a Friday night soon enough.
Winner, Notre Dame. Bounce back, emphatic, 66 points. Offense showing spark. They're a winner.
Okay.
Mike, you had already written them out of the playoff. They have to run the table. They know it. They responded. They're a winner.
Okay.
Beating Purdue is not a win. It's how they won.
That's fine.
Okay.
I am not moved to argue that.
Okay,
point.
fine. I have Washington State as a winner. This is again right to your heart and the heart of college football. You're going to leave us for dead.
Right.
Not so fast.
Yeah. Take this L with you. Hold that for me. I'm just happy for them. Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. No two schools have ever been screwed in conference realignment the way that those two have been screwed. Oregon State and Washington State. It's not right. So, yes, I felt good for them. And I don't think much of UW. I think Jedd Fisch will get it going.
Yeah.
But not in year one. Not with Will Rogers. I don't see it.
Other college winners.
Okay. Let me offer one.
Yeah.
Can I say Tennessee? Like
that might have been our best bet. Not to we were all over them.
In the first half, 20 and a half. When you're up 62-0 at halftime, here's the only reason I say this. Tennessee, I think right before our eyes, it's the team no one's talking about. And it's not just Nico. It's not this lazy take of, they hurl it. No, first of all, they run the football.
And they play defense.
Their pass rush, their front four, their scheme. Jim, I know
where are they in America right now?
They're one of the top 6 or 7 teams I've watched.
3 or 4. I mean, you could make the case. I know there's the Georgia-Texas debate right now. Texas, I think AP number 1.
Outside of Georgia, Texas, wouldn't you put them 3?
You could argue it, absolutely. Who else is there? Buckeyes, they haven't played anybody either, and Tennessee's been more impressive offensively.
I just think they're worth keeping an eye on because, man alive. I don't care who you're playing. You don't do that to Division I. Well, Kent might not be a Division I football team anymore.
We didn't mention Georgia, Kentucky from a winner-loser standpoint. Georgia wins the game.
Mark Stoops is the loser.
I know. What are we doing punting the ball?
No idea.
You might not get it back.
What do we do with Georgia out of that game? I'm trying not to overreact because they do this every year. They have one of these.
But consider, I feel like the SEC is as good as it's been in a long time, right? This is a peak SEC year on paper.
You think they're vulnerable?
Georgia has to go on the road more this season. They have to go to Texas. They have to go to Bama. They have to go to Ole Miss, and they get Tennessee at their place. But we just detailed that Tennessee is going to be bringing a buzzsaw in and is going to give them a run for their money. If they lose to Texas, if they lose to Ole Miss, if they lose to Bama, they start to risk not even going to the SEC title game. They'll make the playoff. My point is, if I told you Georgia's not going to win the SEC this year, that would put you on your heels a little bit.
It would, big time. I try not to overreact because they have one of these a year. Remember, like escaping Mizzou, and I'll stay calm about it, but somehow I would feel better if it was a 27-26 win versus 13-12. Can someone explain to me, you have the number 1 quarterback in America.
Throws 160 yards.
13 points.
Yikes. Another college winner. Manning family DNA.
Yeah, it's fastest Manning I've ever seen.
I was going to say, that's certainly not getting much from the Peyton and Eli side of the family. That's Cooper and Archie Manning is what that is.
I thought Ewers was done. When he dropped to the ground, I go, oh my God, did he just blow his sack out? Has he got a hernia? Is he okay?
What's the latest? It's not a long-term thing?
It's not as bad as expected.
What a luxury, by the way. You lose your NFL quarterback and a Manning legacy steps in and you're fine.
This is what I mean. God damn it.
What?
I'm sitting here live doing the pod with you, and I see a game I wanted to play later in the week, and I don't even get a chance to go to my fucking phone, and I lose 2 points of value. How is Rutgers +5 at VTech? Click. Oh, flat 3. Come on. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
No, I'm just making a point. It's like I can't even get to the college episode without getting frustrated.
Want to go to NFL?
Give a shit.
NFL losers.
Son of a... I feel like Winnebago man right now.
You got an NFL loser.
Can I add another loser in college?
Yeah.
I need a permission slip.
That's what I'm here for.
Michigan. Like at what point now I said I'd wait till the USC game to fully write them off if they lose. Mm-hmm. Jim, at what point can we just say they're not very good?
Oh, I think you can say it right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think preseason we did the debate 9 or 10 wins, playoff bubble. How about 7 or 8 wins?
Yeah, I can't watch it. It's a horrible product. And I actually feel for the people who pay for season tickets to go watch that bullshit. Awful.
All the concerns we had preseason are somehow more concerning. Does that make sense? Like, the idea was they don't know who their quarterback is. They still don't know who their quarterback is, and they just wrapped up non-conference play. Great. Good stuff. They might play a guy they can't throw the football. That'll be great. That really limits what they're going to be. And the thing was, well, at least you'll bank on the fact that they're an elite defense. Longhorns kind of threw that out the window.
Do you want to see...
What are you doing now?
Oh, my God, help me. Let me give you... I'm just checking out some lines while we're kibitzing.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you want to do with this one? Florida State at home, a 1.5 point favorite over Cal.
Cal going cross country. And somehow that's the only side I'd consider betting.
Oh, no. All right, here. You want a rat line?
Sure.
Make sense of this one, because I think this one team fucking stinks. Iowa, only a 2.5 point favorite at Minnesota?
That's a night game, right?
Is that the Floyd of Rosedale? Is this where they play for the Pig? It's a 7 o'clock kick.
It's one of those Big Ten rivalries.
Minnesota's terrible. How is that 2.5 points?
Iowa versus Minnesota. Is it the Pig?
Oh, boy. Okay. Here's my next loss. It's public, and it's north of a touchdown, and I need you to explain why I wouldn't bet Tennessee laying 7.5 at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got one of the worst. They have one of the three worst O-lines I've seen all year, and you're going to line up against that front of Tennessee? And how exactly do you plan on stopping this offense?
Josh Heupel revenge game. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on Tennessee.
Sorry.
I need to stop you. This is Monday.
I know.
This is Monday.
MSU only a 6.5 point dog at BC. Probably lean BC there. But okay, keep it moving. I'm sorry, buddy.
You're good.
I was searching for value. You'll never find it anymore. You basically got to bet on Sunday night if you want value. We got to retire the cactus and Jim's coin phrase. Value? It's gone. There is no value.
NFL winners and losers. You can pick from either. Where do you want to start?
Okay, let me start with the good. I'll give you a couple. You tell me who you're most impressed by. I thought the Bills were a big winner to kick off the week.
Yeah.
The Saints, where we got to have a conversation on realigning what they are exactly.
I did not see this coming.
And I have bias here. I want to shout out, you know I love him, and you know I thought more of them than you did. Raiders. Antonio Pierce has instilled a toughness and a mentality and an attitude in that football team. And you don't win that game in Baltimore if you don't. Those would be the three winners.
Of that group, I'd like to add one more, but of that group, I would say the Saints just because I was so hard on them. The Kubiak hire looks like a good hire. They're getting verticality in the passing game. Kamara's got some juice back. The defense is surprisingly better than I expected.
I don't know what I watched.
I don't know that they're winning 10 games, but I certainly have to adjust what I thought of them. They've been surprising.
You could call the Bucs a winner, too, if you wanted.
You could. I was going to say the Packers.
Yeah.
You run for 260 yards. Everybody knows you're going to be one-dimensional. It's a LaFleur spot. It's a tip of the cap. Maybe he's the winner more than the Packers.
And you defend home field. You don't go to the death nail that 0-2 is.
Yep.
Yeah, big win. I think, again, do we have to have a conversation on the Vikings? I mean, this is a team I thought would be, like 2-7 in week 9. Jim, they're 2-0.
How about Kevin O'Connell? Good offensive coach. He's given Darnold a chance. They're going to protect him.
Oh, I think
they got a good defensive coordinator in terms of,
It speaks to how we view things versus how teams view it in the building. Like, they forcibly targeted, identified, and acquired Sam Darnold because they feel like, hey, we can fix this.
Former first-round pick, some pedigree there. We think we can get him going.
I just think he's a redheaded asshole.
Well,
here we go. Kevin O'Connell's right, and I'm wrong.
But think about it. They're regarded as one of the better coached teams in the NFL in terms of, respected offensive scheme, respected defensive scheme. I think the talent there, that's not playoff caliber.
Yeah.
But if the coaching, they may be on the bubble. You mentioned the Bucs as a winner. Revenge spot for them. They lost both meetings against the Lions last year. Baker Mayfield, competitive, gutty, gritty guy. And in a different life, he's a Dan Campbell quarterback. Good moment for him.
Here's the deal. They came up here without several key pieces in their secondary. They lose Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. They are down essentially 4 of their top 6 defensive players. They hold the Lions to 16 points. Yeah, they marched between the 20s, but in the red zone, Bucs bowed up.
Mm-hmm.
They were down their starting right tackle. Hutchinson feasted.
Still won.
You got to call him a winner. And honestly, I know it's not legal to root for other teams' quarterbacks. I love Baker.
Yeah.
I love him. He's so fucking gutty. He's such a red ass. I fucking love that kid. I'm so happy he's fucking the Browns right now. Guy played with a torn labrum for you, and your reward was to go out and get a fucking creeper.
Did you see after week 1, the very first call to sports radio in Cleveland, Odyssey Station, the guy calling and going, hey, did you see what Baker did?
They're never going to live it down.
No.
And by the way, Browns won, but I watched a lot of that game. I'm not impressed at all.
What about winner NFL kickers? Looking at the Commanders, you make 7 kicks.
I can't count the Giants.
Have you noticed, by the way, that these NFL kickers are better than they've ever been? Like these 50-yarders that used to be like 20 years ago, you go,
Sunday Night Football, they actually had the conversation briefly where Collinsworth and Tariq was like, well, 56 yards was good from 70. Up 53, it's not even a choice anymore.
You're talking Fairbairn. He made 350-plus yarders.
When did it get like this?
Well, and consider this, like you've reached this stage now where if they're going to fix the kickoff, they may have to incentivize that the teams would get it in a better position.
What I'd like
but you
to
can't
do,
because you're basically in field goal range. At the 35, you're a first down away from one of these big leg kickers already being in field goal range.
I'd love to bring the goalposts in, like the old arena football.
Okay.
I'd love to narrow it.
Make it
it's getting ridiculous where if you're at the 40, you can kick a field goal.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just getting stupid.
Yeah.
Or we could do like MTV Rock and Jock where we do bonus zones, like a dartboard. Like if you hit a bullseye,
Like a little bullseye.
It's worth 4.
Could you imagine the pressure on this kick? If he makes it, they tie. If he hits the bullseye, they win.
Yeah. No, and again, the Giants, you can't even count them as a loser because they're in perpetual losing.
So I had Dayball listed as a loser.
He is.
Right.
How do you go into an NFL game with an injured kicker without activating the practice squad kicker? I told you all off season, I watched Hard Knocks. He's a foul-mouthed slob. This Joe Shane looks like a fucking idiot. John Mara is a meek, feckless old man. I'm telling you, I've never thought less of my franchise. 10 of the last 12 years, the New York Football Giants have started 0-2. Meaning 10 of the last 12 years, your season's over.
And football season gets canceled for you before October.
You go to 0-2, the odds of making the playoffs are greatly reduced. Like an 0-2 count in baseball. You can get a base hit, but it don't happen on nearly as much as if it's 1-1, 2-1, etc.
I had a loser, Bears supporting cast. How much did I have to hear about this is such a great situation for the number 1 pick to land in? It's not like all those other loser teams that took a number 1 quarterback. You guys want to pass protect a little bit?
Well, I was going to say that. The O-line looks like the big failure here. Now, the weapons are there. Last night, I want to give if we look at the first 2 weeks as a whole, they have faced Tennessee, who won the box score against the Jets. God forbid they cover 3.5. And then the Texans. These are 2 teams that I think are top half of the league defenses, maybe top 10.
I'm not bagging on Caleb. I'm saying this was expected from anybody who's not in the Windy City who wanted to blow a lot of hot air all offseason. This is the reality of football.
The O-line's got to get better.
Sure.
I am with you. They were woeful last night.
I mean, you had national talking heads. This is a Super Bowl, my ass.
You took the comments of one human being. Now, come on. I'm not even going to give that guy some publicity.
Fine. But Bears supporting cast, not as good as whoever they is, thought they would be.
I want you to keep avoiding the biggest loser.
No, we're going to get to him, but I'm going to dance around it a little more. One more. Expensive NFL quarterbacks to me were a loser. How about Dak's new deal? 2 interceptions in a blowout. How about Tua pre-injury? 3 interceptions in an ugly loss. Trevor Lawrence, expensive deal. They've lost 7 of the last 8. He has 1 touchdown. They're 0-2.
We got to have a conversation.
Jared Goff, 2 interceptions, freshly paid guy. So
he still hasn't gotten there, Evan.
So I had expensive quarterbacks as a loser. Who am I forgetting?
Come on.
You're going to do this on your show. Let's do it a little here.
No, we're not. This has nothing to do with the Lions. You don't have to gird.
Oh, I thought you were going to do Dan Campbell. No. We're going to duke this out.
No. There's nothing to duke out.
He was a loser. He admitted it.
I think your point is right, and so is mine, and it's probably 51-49 depending on your perspective. Yeah. I'm not interested in arguing it. No. The biggest loser.
Who?
Nobody gets their balls massaged more than this guy by the national media, and yet he comes up smaller. He's a playoff 0, and now his team is sitting at 0-2.
Lamar!
Thank you. Just help me understand why I have to kiss this guy's ass.
You don't.
What am I missing? Why am I the lone wolf on this?
You're not. We talked about it after the opening game of the season. He does not win from the pocket. All the other stuff is great. The dynamic play is certainly a plus. You're not winning a Super Bowl unless you make the throws from the pocket.
And now the Ravens, who, by the way, I wasn't high on to start the year. I don't think they'll be bad. I just don't think they're really that good. Jim, they're 0-2. And guess what? You see who they're playing this week?
Who?
Oh, come on. You haven't looked at this? Oh, cookies. This is disappointing, Evan. No, you don't need to type nothing.
The workflow of the week.
I know.
You get through Monday.
Let me give you some workflow.
Oh, boy.
Ravens. Pick 'em.
Oh, boy.
At the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, that is a spicy game. Tell me that's is that prime time? Is that at least like America's game of the week?
4:25.
Brady will be on the call.
Jim. That's the game of the week. Game of week.
Both teams coming off a loss. Where's the game at? Dallas?
Yep.
Oh, that's spicy.
You want another spicy one?
Yeah.
Your Lions on the road laying 3.
Flat 3.
Flat 3 at the Cardinals.
So the Lions haven't lost back-to-back games since?
I don't know.
October of 2022.
Wow.
Pre-Halloween, almost 2 years ago.
Wow.
Dan Campbell's teams have done a really good job not letting one become 2. They rally. I'm nowhere near a panic with the Lions, but we took a lot of phone calls today, and there's a lot to be upset about from yesterday's game. I'm just not willing to panic. I would back the Lions in that spot, especially at 3.
I think yesterday said more about the Rams than the Cardinals. Therefore,
don't overreact to it.
Niners minus 7.5 at the Rams. Cooper Kupp left the game in a boot. They got no offensive line, no Nakua. Kupp's not going to play next week. There's no fucking way. You think the Niners are going to lose back-to-back games to that B squad?
No.
But again, you got to lay 7.5 to do it. It's a death sentence. These lines are brutal. Here's your pick of the week. Browns lay 6.5. Giants go 0. Hey, when do the Giants win a game? Can we play that game?
They might not.
No. They'll win a game.
Oh, I don't know that. No. I don't want to be mean to you.
Here's my point.
I said something nice earlier.
At what point do I get Shane and Dayball fired? Is it 0-5?
Hold on. We're gonna factor in the media circus.
Guess what happens after we play the Browns this week?
Yeah, let's
go. I'm pretty sure we got a short turn Thursday night football against the team we never beat, the Dallas Cowboys.
Correct.
Then I believe we go and we take on...
You hit the road across the country.
Is it San Francisco?
Seattle, close.
Okay.
So, at that point, what are you? You're 0-5?
I would love it. Sure.
0-6 against the Bengals?
I hope so.
0-7 against the Eagles?
I hope so.
0-8 at the Steelers?
No. At
0-7. Where's the bye? When do you get fired in here? Your bye isn't until after. Okay, here's where, if he is still hanging on, if they're 1 and whatever, 0 and whatever, you guys play the Panthers. It's an overseas game. You'll be the only show in town on TV. It'll be early breakfast.
And I'll be begging the Giants to lose that game so we can draft Carson Beck.
Your bye week is the very next week. If their record is 1 and whatever, 0 and whatever, you're fired at the end of that game.
Okay, had to ask.
Okay. Do you want to do any of the Lions stuff here? In terms of why they lost that game?
I mean, what do you want to do? You want to argue?
No, I don't want to fight.
Give me your spiel. I'll give you my spiel.
Perfect.
And we'll call it even.
All right.
Because I don't think you're wrong.
We don't get crosstalk. This is our version of crosstalk, so we don't get to do the conversation otherwise. So Dan Campbell screwed up at the end of the half. He owns it. He admits it. It was high school level, poorly executed, whatever. But then he does the it's all on me. The coach screwed him. Coach gave up the game. Dan, I get what you're doing, but there were 2 more quarters, and your offense finished the game 1-7 in the red zone. Your offense had 4 drives in the fourth quarter and produced 0 points. You get in the red zone, and you start doing this weird, sideline to sideline, little check down, little screen pass. Dan, your quarterback didn't attempt to throw to the end zone at the end of the game.
Oh, you didn't
as much as you want to, and I respect what he's doing, but I see through it. You can't own this as much as you want, Dan. This is also on your football team. It's on your offensive coordinator, the whiz kid, and it's on Jared Goff. Those 2 should not escape the blame. They should get the majority of the blame. Now, here's where you tell me 3 points are really valuable, and I understand your point.
I'm not going to tell you anything. You're not wrong. I just have a more simplistic approach, which is straight up, as an NFL head coach, you can't cost your football team. All of the things you're talking about are right, but so is what I'm saying, meaning if I kick that field goal before the half instead of disorganized fire drill. The last 2 drives of your football game where you are sitting in the red zone in a cherry spot, you're kicking a field goal to win the game. There's no consternation. This is a football team that had almost 500 yards offense.
Right. They wasted a great defensive performance, too.
The last 4 drives for Tampa Bay, one of them was more than 4 plays.
Yeah.
You held Tampa Bay to 20 points. You doubled them up in the running game. You more than doubled them up in the passing game. You more than doubled them in first day. You did everything right. Couple of bad throws. I mean, the Goff interception late while getting hit in the chest, it's a stupid throw. You can't make that throw.
What's the best case scenario there? Where's he hoping the ball goes? There's nobody there.
It was an awful decision. I'm making a point that the razor's edge of this league, when your coach, think about this on a week-by-week basis. Go game by game by game and look at the team who wins or the team who's losing and would have a shot to win if we took away 3 points because their coach had a sloppy operation. Dude, you'd be stunned.
I mean, it's inexcusable. He had to think it was 4th down. I don't know why you'd be racing out the field goal team on 3rd down.
That's
just
right.
Spike the ball.
That's right.
They got 20 guys on the field. I mean, and he copped to it immediately because he knows there's no spin, there's no excuse. It's bad.
Yeah, you cannot make an excuse. And he doesn't.
No, and I give him the credit for that.
That's where I respect him.
I do too, and I think the locker room respects him for it, and that's been as big a reason why I think they've turned around as anything. Can I give you the play from the game that drove me bananas?
Of course. I'm here for it.
Okay. Well, there's a bunch. I mean, you had red zone first possession in the red zone last possession in the red zone, where they're not just running the ball. Vita Vea is injured. You're going to just pass it 55 times. I don't understand that. But what gets me is you reach this point at the end of the game where you have the ball with 33 seconds to go. You have a gift. You have a timeout in your back pocket because of what the Bucs did, right? Throwing on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. You have a life jacket in choppy waters, right? What do they do the very first play? 9 yards, timeout.
I know.
We lit our life jacket on fire for 9 yards? Jared, you've played enough football. You're not this stupid. I've been really mean to you in the past. You are not this stupid.
Evan, he ain't wrong.
And Mike, what do they do the very next play?
Do it again.
Mike, they threw another 9-yard play inbounds and lit like 14 seconds on fire.
I think it was 18 seconds.
You're right, because there were 14 seconds left. Mike, and then Jared, at the end, they go, Jared, you didn't attempt any throws to the end zone. Maybe that's an oversimplification. Can you just kind of explain? And he's like, well, we want to get inside at 15 to 20 yards because those throws to the end zone are higher percentage. Jared, it's a great point. The only reason you didn't get within 15 or 20 yards is because your dumbass burned up all the time. There's no time left. I'm glad we got 9 yards on a check down to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's not going to get us to the end zone. You have one timeout. You get to work the sideline, and you get one precious play over the middle. It's not a 9-yard check down to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it's sure as shit not a check down to Jahmyr Gibbs the very next play. I know that's not why they lost the game, but can you understand, like, this is my team. Like, how are we... There's no explanation for that execution from a veteran quarterback they just handed $200 million to.
There's also no explanation for your very expensive and very highly touted offensive line to play the way they played.
That's fair.
Meaning they were good enough to produce numbers, but how is it in a one-score game where the other team's only scored 20 points, mind you, that you passed the ball 56 times?
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to blame the O-line. If you asked them to pass set 55 times, you're begging for some seepage. Let them engage in the run game. Let them bully some people.
Seepage. That'll be the name of our weekend.
Oh, God.
Seepage. We got seepage, people.
So needless to say, not happy with the team, not happy with the performance.
And you're not wrong. I'm not protesting. I just I've got a real problem with head coaches and the operation they run. It's never acceptable. Now, you're right about the football stuff. Goff didn't have a good game. I mean, the numbers are trumped up, and it was a lot of checkdowns. I mean, here's the other thing. Ben Johnson, can you do me a favor? A, I need an APB on Sam Laporta.
Please.
And B, can we ditch the speed option?
What was that?
No fucking clue.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
No clue.
And the Laporta thing, very first red zone trip of the day. It's 2nd and 10. They run for 7 yards down to the 3. What did they just do to win their last game?
Pound the rock.
3rd and 3. To me, that's 4-down territory if you run it on 3rd down, right? You reasonably gain a yard or two. You might get in the end zone. It's 4-down territory. You lean on the strength of your team. Mike, they decide, you know what? We're going to throw the ball. Catch them off guard. 3rd and 3. We got some weapons in the passing game. One problem. Why is Sam Laporta blocking? If you're going to throw the ball on 3rd and 3 in the red zone, Sam Laporta has to go on a route. He doesn't have to be the primary target. Doesn't have to be the secondary target. He could be a decoy. He could take a double team. He can't be blocking an edge rusher on 3rd and 3 in the red zone. He has to be in a route. Has to be. So, yeah, no, I put it more on the coach, the play calling, and the quarterback than I do Dan Campbell's admittedly horrific, not defending it, blunder at the end of the half.
Bottom line is, we can agree on the following. That loss is really going to bite you in the ass at the end of the year. That's an NFC playoff team, home game, the whole bit.
You want home field in the playoffs.
That's going to bite you in the ass.
Hey, think about it. San Francisco lost. Lions win.
Yeah.
Pole position.
And it's a home game. It was brutal.
Yep.
Totally brutal.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Winners, losers, NFL, shenanigans?
We did it all. We said it all. I got to recharge my batteries. I got to lick my wounds.
Oh, I want a question for you.
TCU minus 2.5 at SMU.
When do you get your first Hendon Hooker call today? We got ours in the final 5 minutes of the show.
I mean, generally, I just hang up. I just don't care.
I couldn't believe it. Anyway, you have fun with Lions fans today. This is Cash the Ticket. Mailbag coming. Mike's going to continue to scope out picks. We'll have Thursday and Friday. We'll be back at it. Cash the Ticket podcast at gmail.com. Rate, review, subscribe. And a reminder, the questions we asked at the start of this. Why do you listen? Seriously, because it can't be for our picks after last weekend. Please tell us it's for the entertainment.
It's amazing how
and can you share in the misery your awful sports
all the credibility
betting?
over 3 years we build up, 1 weekend ruins it all.
Why would you listen to this?
It's more. I just hope you're here for the entertainment.
Yeah,
it takes some of the fun out of it. If it's this, I must have missed where Jim is selling you his football package for $2.99 for the season.
So let us know why you listen, and then yes, let us know about an awful betting weekend you had, so we can share in the misery together.
Thank you. Thank you so much.